Przystępujemy do realizacji kolejnego punktu porządku obrad. Sprawozdanie Violi von Cramon-Taubadel, sprawozdanie za rok 2022 dotyczące Kosowa. Proszę o zabranie głosu sprawozdawcę, panią poseł Violę von Cramon-Taubadel. 4 minuty na wystąpienie. Bardzo proszę.
Dear Madam President, Commissioner, colleagues, and dear citizens of Kosovo, I'm very much honored to present this year's European Parliament's report that looks at the reforms and achievements of Kosovo's reforms which are accomplished. I was giving these speeches on Kosovo reports every year since 2019, hoping I can finally say happy freedom of movement. It is not a request or hope anymore, it's a reality. As of January next year, Kosovo citizens will be able to travel across Europe without any visa requirements, invitation letters, costly procedure, and queuing in lines. Europe has finally opened its doors. Last year was a challenging one for everyone, as we saw the horrors of war returning to Europe. Kosovo's government, knowing well these horrors, demonstrated full solidarity with Ukraine by aligning with EU sanctions and even hosting Ukrainian journalists, for which I would like to deeply thank them. Our report only touches the surface of challenges and issues that are ahead of Kosovo. Yet, it clearly underlines successes and what needs to be undertaken in the areas of democracy, fight against corruption, organized crime, energy and environment. So I will only outline 3 major processes: the rule of law, freedom of media, EU-led dialogue, and the energy transition. Kosovo keeps proving its democratic capacities by having a pluralistic political landscape, which is demonstrated on free and fair elections. The media landscape is diverse, also compared to other states in the region, but still it is important that journalists remain independent. Significant results have been achieved in the areas of fight against corruption and organized crimes across Kosovo. Rule of law reforms need to be continued in line with the Venice Commission opinion and EU standards. Yet, the rule of law means equality for all. That's why the international community has repeatedly asked the government of Kosovo to implement the Constitutional Court judgment regarding the Visoki Dečani Monastery. Dear colleagues in Kosovo, an essential element on Kosovo's EU integration path is certainly the dialogue between Kosovo and Serbia, which conditions the EU membership of both countries. The signing of Brussels and Ohrid agreements in March this year and subsequent declaration on missing persons are excellent signals, but we expect the implementation of these all previous agreements. It is particularly important to keep the dialogue at the highest level in order to secure that the situation in the north of Kosovo remains stable. I asked the Kosovo Serbs to return to the institution and the government of Kosovo to offer an open hand and start a dialogue with its citizens in Mitrovica, Suban Paltok, Leposavic, and Zvečan. Here, EULEX roles in the last months was the crucial guarantee for peace and security in the north, and we need EULEX reinforcement for the prevention and protection until the full return to institution and police does not occur. Finding a way to accommodate the dialogue obligation within Kosovo's legal order will lead one big step closer to the end of the dialogue and finalization of the process with mutual recognition. Finally, the environment protection must become a priority for Kosovo. Without the full integration of the Western Balkans in our green and energy transition plans, our C2 goals won't be accomplished. This must be a clear priority for the EU, and that is why we have created the Green Agenda for the Western Balkans. Now we should work on the implementation on the long-awaited energy strategy, which should lead to the decarbonization of Kosovo's energy. I wish to see the fruits of our joint efforts in the future, since Kosovo's citizens deserve to live in the country that enjoys full international respect and clear European integration perspective. In that respect, I warmly welcome the start of the admission procedure to the Council of Europe. Thank you very much for your attention.
Dziękuję bardzo. W imieniu Komisji głos zabierze pan komisarz Olivér VÁRHELYI. Bardzo proszę.
Dear President, honorable members, first I want to thank the Rapporteur, Viola von Cramon-Taubadel, for her report on Kosovo and this House for its continued support to the Western Balkans. Last month, the European Parliament completed the legislative process allowing visa-free travel for Kosovo citizens. The Commission welcomes this long overdue decision. From the 1st of January next year, Kosovo citizens will be able to travel without any visa requirements. Finally, all Western Balkan 6 have visa-free access to the EU. This is another positive signal to the whole region and another commitment that the future of the Western Balkans lies within the European Union. Alignment with the EU common foreign and security policy has never been more important. Kosovo's government has taken clear positions by condemning Russia's military aggression against Ukraine and by aligning with the EU statements and sanctions against Russia and Belarus. We welcome this clear commitment with the EU values and positions. Kosovo continues its efforts to deliver on EU-related reforms, including in key areas such as the fight against corruption and organized crime. As highlighted in the Commission report from last year, in the area of fight against corruption, there is a need to improve the implementation of the overall legal framework. Sustained efforts are needed to achieve more proactive investigations, final court decisions, and final confiscation of assets. Regarding organized crime, the Commission report stipulates that the limited progress was made in investigating and prosecuting organized crime cases. We would also like to see a faster pace of reform, including at the Assembly, which has a critical role to play in advancing the government's EU agenda. We welcome Kosovo's efforts to improve the efficiency, integrity, and professionalism of the judiciary. At the same time, from the Commission side, we also underline in our report that overall administration of justice continues to be slow, inefficient, and vulnerable to undue influence. As you also note from the report, these efforts should respect the Venice Commission's recommendations on the matter, which we have welcomed. The Commission stands ready to continue our cooperation with the authorities on this important issue and provide further technical assistance. On the economic front, the EU and Kosovo are facing common challenges: energy and other commodities, inflation, and concerns about the future. As the Commission highlighted in its report, Kosovo made some progress on the economic criteria, and it is at an early stage of developing a functioning market economy. The economy demonstrated resilience during the pandemic. Nevertheless, the long-standing structural challenges, such as the widespread informal economy, the high prevalence of corruption, and the overall weak rule of law, continue to hinder the private sector. The energy sector remains also a cause for concern, not only for Kosovo, but for many of our partners in the Western Balkans. To help the region deal with the energy crisis, the Commission has put forward a €1 billion energy support package for the entire Western Balkans. As part of this package, Kosovo receives €75 million in direct budget support. More funds will become available to support Kosovo as it steps up its green transition. In this context, we welcome Kosovo's adoption of its energy strategy for the next 10 years. We remain committed to help Kosovo in every way we can, including through our financial assistance. Kosovo needs to increase its efforts to take full advantage of the opportunities offered under the Economic and Investment Plan for the Western Balkans and IPA III. For these investments to deliver fully, we need the region to push ahead with building a common regional market. We welcome the 3 mobility agreements reached in the framework of the Berlin process at the end of last year. However, we need Kosovo to engage constructively in regional cooperation initiatives in order to make further progress possible. When it comes to the Belgrade-Pristina Dialogue, progress has been made over the last year. In February and March, Kosovo and Serbia agreed on a normalization agreement and an implementation annex to it. It is now essential that both parties implement all their obligations without delay from this agreement. As it was stated by the European Council in February 2023, so this year, and I quote, "The European Council urges both parties to implement fully and without conditions the obligations they committed to in the framework of the dialogue, including the agreements from the years 2013 and 2015, to create an association community of Serb-majority municipalities," end of quote. Keys for Kosovo to engage constructively, and as the EU Special Representative for Kosovo and Serbia dialogue has highlighted, the draft of the management team is the starting point for further discussions about the association. Normalization is key for both to advance on their respective European path and will also contribute to the stability, development and prosperity of the entire region. Let me end on this note. Kosovo and the entire region belong in the European Union. They are part of the European family, and we will stand by Kosovo on its journey to Europe. Thank you for your attention, and I'm looking forward for the discussion. Thank you.
Bardzo dziękuję w imieniu Grupy Europejskiej